All right. Have you ever wondered why your knees feel swollen after a meal? Why some days just getting up from a chair feels like dragging bricks? Here's the truth. Arthritis now affects nearly 1 in 2 adults over 65, making it the #1 cause of disability in the U.S. It slowly robs you of the joy of walking, gardening, or simply hugging your grandkids without pain. And yet, most people have no idea that some of the foods they eat every day are quietly making the pain worse. Yes, arthritis isn't just about age. It's also about inflammation, and what you eat directly affects how inflamed or how calm your joints are. In today's video, we'll walk you through the 9 most dangerous foods to avoid if you have arthritis. Some may surprise you because they're often labeled healthy. We'll also explain why these foods make things worse, not with fear, but with facts reviewed by qualified health professionals. So if you or someone you love is dealing with joint pain, stiffness, or swelling, don't skip this. And remember, your healing starts with knowledge. If you're new here, welcome to It's Better Health, your trusted companion on the journey to move freely and live fully after 60. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. Which joint gives you the most trouble? Knees, hips, or fingers? We read every message because you're not just a viewer, you're part of this community. Ready to take back control from arthritis? Let's get started with the very first food you must cut out. Food number 1, gluten, the inflammatory culprit. For many people, gluten is just a word they see on food packaging. But for seniors living with arthritis, gluten can be a hidden trigger of pain, swelling, and joint stiffness. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. It's used in everything from bread, cereal, and pasta to sauces and salad dressings. You'll even find it in some medications. Now here's the danger. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune condition where your immune system attacks your joints, gluten could silently fuel the fire inside your body. Why? Because gluten can provoke an inflammatory response. Your body may treat gluten as a threat, and in doing so, it accidentally attacks healthy tissues, including your joints. This can intensify swelling, stiffness, and flare-ups, especially in your knees, hands, and hips. Multiple studies have shown that people with rheumatoid arthritis who eliminate gluten from their diet report reduce joint pain and morning stiffness. One review published in Clinical Rheumatology even found that a gluten-free diet, especially when paired with an anti-inflammatory eating plan, significantly improved markers of inflammation in RA patients. But this goes beyond just autoimmune arthritis. Even people with osteoarthritis, the wear and tear type, can experience increased inflammation when their gut is irritated by gluten, especially if they have undiagnosed gluten sensitivity. The problem? Gluten hides in places you'd never expect. Salad dressings, soups, soy sauce, snack foods, even vitamins and supplements. That's why if you're dealing with persistent arthritis pain, especially the type that comes and goes, it's worth trying a gluten elimination trial, ideally under a doctor's supervision. Here's what you can do. Replace white bread and pasta with gluten-free grains like quinoa, brown rice, or oats. Watch for hidden gluten in sauces, spice mixes, and marinades. Choose naturally gluten-free whole foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes, lean proteins. The payoff? Many seniors report more flexible joints, less swelling, and greater ease in movement, just by cutting out gluten for a few weeks. Because when it comes to arthritis, every little source of inflammation adds up. And gluten, for some, is the hidden piece of the puzzle they didn't even know was missing. Food number 2, red and processed meats, a double dose of trouble. For many seniors, a juicy steak or a slice of bacon brings comfort, a taste of tradition. But if you're living with arthritis, these familiar favorites may be silently sabotaging your joints every single day. Let's break this down. Red meat like beef, lamb, and pork is rich in saturated fats. These fats can raise cholesterol, increase systemic inflammation, and contribute to the progression of rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis alike. But there's another hidden danger. Red meat contains carnitine, a compound that can trigger inflammatory pathways in the body, especially when consumed in excess. This means your weekend burger might be quietly inflaming your knees, your hips, or your back without you even realizing it. Now let's talk about processed meats. Bacon, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats like ham and salami. These aren't just high in saturated fat. They're also loaded with preservatives called nitrates and nitrites. When heated, these compounds can form carcinogenic substances and increase oxidative stress in the body, both of which worsen inflammation and accelerate joint degeneration. In fact, a large study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that high intake of red and processed meats was directly linked to a higher risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis and cardiovascular disease. And here's another piece of the puzzle. Red meat contains high levels of iron, which might sound like a good thing, but in excess, it increases free iron in the blood. This can fuel oxidative damage, making already inflamed joints feel even stiffer, more swollen, and more painful. Meet Joyce, 71. She used to start every morning with sausage and eggs and enjoyed steak twice a week. But when her arthritis flared so badly she needed help standing from her recliner, her daughter convinced her to try something new. Joyce swapped out her red meats for grilled salmon, chickpea patties, and tofu stir-fries. After 6 weeks, she was walking farther, sleeping better, and had cut her morning pain medication in half. Because here's the truth. You don't have to give up taste. You just have to choose smarter proteins. Instead of red or processed meats, try fatty fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel, rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Lentils, chickpeas, or black beans, great for joints and heart. Tofu or tempeh, plant-based, easy to digest, and gentle on inflammation. Red and processed meats may seem like a harmless indulgence, but for aging joints, they're like pouring gasoline on a slow-burning fire. Swap them out and you might just rediscover strength, flexibility, and pain relief you thought was long gone. Food number 3. Added sugars, the sweetest way to fuel inflammation. We all love a little sweetness in life. A cookie with coffee, a slice of cake at a birthday, or a sugary drink on a hot day. But when it comes to arthritis, that sugar could be quietly inflaming your joints, draining your energy, and worsening your pain with every bite. Here's the truth most people don't hear. Added sugars don't just mess with your blood sugar. They are powerful pro-inflammatory agents. When you eat sugar, your body releases insulin to process it. But high sugar intake leads to insulin resistance, which spikes inflammation across the entire body, especially in your joints. That piece of pie? It may taste comforting, but it could also be contributing to morning stiffness, swollen knuckles, and painful knees. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that high sugar intake is associated with higher levels of inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein, CRP. And chronic inflammation is a major culprit in both osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. But it doesn't stop there. Sugary foods and drinks disrupt your energy levels, causing crashes that make fatigue worse, a symptom many seniors with arthritis already struggle with. And sugar's impact on mood? It's real. Spikes and crashes can exacerbate anxiety, brain fog, and irritability, making the emotional toll of arthritis even harder. Meet Harold, 74. Every afternoon, Harold had a routine, a sweet pastry and a soda while watching his favorite show. But his arthritis in his hands made it hard to grip the remote. The stiffness was relentless. His doctor suggested he cut back on added sugars, so he started swapping pastries for a handful of berries and walnuts, and traded soda for lemon water. 3 weeks later, Harold wasn't just feeling clearer and more energized. He could finally open a jar without wincing. So where is sugar hiding? It's not just in cookies and cake. Watch out for flavored yogurts, salad dressings, ketchup and sauces, granola bars, healthy smoothies from the store. If a food label shows more than 5 g of added sugar per serving, it's a red flag, especially if you have joint pain. Smart swaps. Craving something sweet? Try frozen grapes, chia pudding, or cinnamon-dusted apple slices. Need energy? Choose a banana with almond butter, not a sugary granola bar. Thirsty? Go for sparkling water with lime instead of soda. Sugar may feel like a small pleasure, but over time it's like pouring syrup on your joints, sticky, heavy, and full of pain. Cutting back isn't about punishment. It's about freedom. Freedom from inflammation, freedom from daily joint pain, and freedom to move through life with ease. Food. Number 4. Alcohol, a hidden agitator of arthritic joints. For many, a glass of wine in the evening feels like a reward, a way to wind down, take the edge off, or even ease some discomfort. But if you're living with arthritis, that drink might be doing more harm than good, even if it doesn't feel that way right away. You see, alcohol is a silent trigger for many seniors with arthritis. It seems harmless in moderation, but let's break it down. Here's what's really happening inside your body. Number 1. Alcohol disrupts your medications. Many seniors with arthritis are prescribed NSAIDs, corticosteroids, or DMARDs to manage pain and inflammation. Alcohol doesn't just weaken the effect of these drugs. It can interfere with liver metabolism and even increase side effects, including stomach bleeding, liver toxicity, and impaired immune function. Number 2. It's a powerful dehydrator. Alcohol acts as a diuretic, meaning it pulls water from your body. This leads to joint dehydration, increased stiffness, and more pain, especially in the morning. Number 3. Inflammation gets worse. Alcohol contributes to systemic inflammation, raising levels of cytokines, molecules your immune system uses to signal inflammation. For someone already battling inflamed joints, this is like throwing fuel on the fire. Number 4. Sleep disruption. Though it may help you fall asleep faster, alcohol actually disrupts deep restorative sleep. And poor sleep has been shown to worsen pain perception and reduce tolerance to joint discomfort. Frank's story, age 69. Frank enjoyed a small bourbon every night. Just one, he'd say. But the swelling in his knees and the soreness in his hands seemed to get worse with time. His rheumatologist gently suggested trying 1 month alcohol-free. Frank was skeptical, but willing. By week 3, he noticed his hands didn't ache as much in the morning. He was sleeping deeper. His mood was better. His joints felt more mobile. Now, he saves that bourbon for special occasions and feels younger than he has in years. So, how much is too much? 1 drink per day for women, 2 for men, and ideally with food. That's what most guidelines say. But when arthritis is in the picture, even that might be too much. Every person is different, and the impact of alcohol on arthritis varies based on medication, hydration, liver health, and more. Smarter swaps to protect your joints. Instead of wine, try sparkling water with pomegranate juice. Instead of cocktails, a chilled herbal tea mocktail with mint and lemon. Instead of whiskey at night, a calming magnesium-rich golden milk or chamomile tea. These small swaps may seem simple, but their impact can be profound. Your joints are already working hard to keep you moving. Let's not weigh them down further. Removing or reducing alcohol from your routine isn't about giving something up. It's about getting something back. Mobility, clarity, restful sleep, and maybe even the joy of waking up without that dull, familiar ache. Food number 5. Highly processed foods. Convenience that costs you mobility. They're easy, they're quick. Microwave dinners, canned soups, crackers, chips, ready-made sauces. For many older adults, these are staples of convenience. But when arthritis starts affecting your hands, knees, or hips, those easy meals come with a painful cost. The hidden culprits inside processed foods. Number 1. Chemical additives that disrupt gut and joint health. Highly processed foods often contain artificial preservatives, colorants, flavor enhancers like MSG, emulsifiers and stabilizers. Number 2. While these might extend shelf life, they irritate your gut lining, disrupt your immune response, and aggravate systemic inflammation, the very thing that makes arthritis worse. Number 3. Excess sodium, a recipe for swelling. Just one frozen dinner can contain over 1,200 milligrams of sodium, more than half your daily limit. Sodium causes fluid retention, which leads to swollen joints, puffiness, and extra pressure on cartilage already under stress. And the result? More stiffness, especially in the morning, more difficulty moving, and more pain that lingers. Number 4. Ultra-refined carbohydrates. White bread, crackers, chips, they break down quickly into sugar, spiking your blood glucose. This doesn't just affect diabetics. High blood sugar levels can directly increase inflammation and contribute to joint degradation. Martha's wake-up call. Martha, 73, was always independent, but she started noticing more stiffness in her hands, especially in the mornings. She thought it was just age. But her granddaughter, a nutrition student, took one look at her pantry and gently said, "Grandma, these microwave meals and saltine cracker, they're making it worse." Together, they made a plan. Replace one processed item per day with a fresh option. Replace canned soup with homemade lentil soup with olive oil. Replace crackers with carrot sticks with hummus. Replace instant noodles with brown rice and sautéed veggies. Within 4 weeks, Martha said something surprising. "I didn't know my hands could feel this light again." How to make healthier swaps, one step at a time. Instead of canned soup, try homemade broth or fresh veggie soup. Instead of packaged chips or crackers, try air-popped popcorn or roasted chickpeas. Instead of instant noodles, try brown rice or quinoa with olive oil and herbs. Instead of frozen dinners, try prepped in advance stir-fry or stew. You don't have to give up convenience. You just need to redefine it. Why this matters? Every time you reduce processed food in your diet, you give your joints a chance to reduce inflammation, rebuild cartilage. Yes, it's possible, slowly but surely. Improve circulation to affected areas. And most importantly, feel stronger, looser, and more mobile. So the next time you reach for that ready-made package, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me move better or making my steps heavier? Your body is doing everything it can to keep you active. Let's not make it fight against the food you eat. Food number 6. High-salt foods, the silent stiffness trigger. It's invisible, nearly tasteless, and yet it shows up in nearly every bite you take. From canned soups to sauces, deli meats to frozen dinners, salt, more precisely sodium, is quietly worsening your arthritis pain. While sodium is an essential mineral that helps regulate fluid balance, nerve signals, and muscle contractions, consuming it in excess becomes a silent threat, especially for seniors managing joint pain and stiffness. When sodium levels rise too high, your body tries to flush out the excess through urine. But here's the hidden danger. In the process, it also removes calcium, And calcium is absolutely crucial for maintaining strong bones, particularly in older adults. This gradual calcium loss can contribute to decreased bone density and greater vulnerability to fractures, while also putting additional stress on joints already inflamed by arthritis. But it doesn't stop there. High salt intake also causes your body to retain fluid. That water retention doesn't just make you feel bloated. It pushes fluid into tissues, including the synovial lining of your joints. This creates more pressure and swelling in areas already inflamed, making it harder to move without pain. If you've ever noticed your fingers feeling puffy or your knees aching more after a salty meal, that's not a coincidence. It's your joints reacting to excess sodium. And then there's the impact on circulation. Consuming too much sodium raises blood pressure, which reduces blood flow to your extremities. That means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach your joints, slowing the healing process and allowing inflammation to persist. Over time, this limited circulation can worsen the damage caused by arthritis and make recovery from flare-ups take longer. Lillian, a 76-year-old retired school teacher, learned this lesson the hard way. Although she believes she ate healthily, mostly home-cooked meals, she relied heavily on bouillon cubes, seasoned salt, and canned vegetables. After a conversation with her granddaughter who suggested monitoring her sodium intake, Lillian discovered she was consuming over 3,200 milligrams of sodium per day, well beyond the recommended limit of 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams for seniors. By swapping in fresh vegetables, unsalted seasonings, and low-sodium broths, she not only reduced her daily intake but also noticed less swelling in her hands and more restful sleep as her nighttime joint pain eased. The good news is, you don't need to eliminate salt entirely. Your body still needs it, but the key is to become mindful of hidden sources, like processed snacks, canned goods, and seasoning blends, and make gentle changes that lower your daily sodium intake. Simple swaps like using fresh herbs instead of seasoned salt, or choosing low-sodium broth instead of bouillon cubes can go a long way. In the end, salt may be small, but its impact is heavy. Reducing your sodium intake is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to ease arthritis symptoms. Less swelling, less pain, more mobility, and a greater sense of freedom in your daily movement. Food number 7. Vegetable oils, the inflammation you didn't see coming. They're labeled as heart-healthy. They sit on supermarket shelves with cheerful names like corn oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, often in big plastic bottles. And for years, you've been told these oils are the better choice compared to lard or butter. But here's the truth few people talk about. Some vegetable oils can silently fuel inflammation, making arthritis pain worse without you even realizing it. The culprit? Omega-6 fatty acids. These fats are essential in small amounts, but when consumed excessively and without a proper balance of omega-3 SL, they can trigger the body's inflammatory response. The two most problematic oils for people with arthritis are corn oil and safflower oil, both of which are exceptionally high in omega-6s. When your body has too much omega-6 and too little omega-3, it sets the stage for chronic inflammation, particularly in already vulnerable joints. Inflammation is at the very core of arthritis, and the foods you eat can either soothe or stoke the fire. When vegetable oils tip the balance, they increase the production of pro-inflammatory compounds like cytokines and prostaglandins. This means more swelling, more stiffness, and more pain in your knees, hips, and hands, especially in the mornings or after periods of rest. And there's more. Many non-organic corn oil products in the U.S. are made from genetically modified corn, GMO, which can introduce allergens and trigger unwanted immune responses. For someone already battling an autoimmune form of arthritis, this can be like pouring gasoline on the fire. Beyond inflammation, these oils can also negatively impact cardiovascular health. Safflower oil, for example, has been shown in studies to increase LDL, bad cholesterol, and raise blood pressure when consumed in large quantities. The linoleic acid it contains, although essential, can irritate the gastrointestinal tract and cause further discomfort in older adults who already struggle with sensitive digestion. Let's take Harold, a 72-year-old widower who used to deep-fry fish in corn oil every Friday, a tradition passed down in his family. After being diagnosed with osteoarthritis in both knees, his doctor suggested an anti-inflammatory diet. One small change Harold made was swapping corn oil for extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil, both rich in monounsaturated fats and low in omega-6s. Within weeks, Harold noticed his knees weren't as stiff in the morning, and he didn't need to ice them after gardening like he used to. It wasn't a miracle cure, but it was a turning point. So what's the solution? You don't need to eliminate all oils, but it's time to choose the right ones. Use extra virgin olive oil for salads, sautéing, or drizzling over cooked vegetables. It's high in anti-inflammatory antioxidants like oleocanthal. Use avocado oil for higher heat cooking. It's stable, heart-healthy, and gentle on joints. Avoid corn, soybean, sunflower, safflower, and cottonseed oils, especially if they're not organic or cold-pressed. Check your labels. You'll be surprised how often these oils hide in dressings, sauces, mayonnaise, and baked goods. Every small swap you make away from inflammatory oils is a step toward less joint pain, more freedom, and a better quality of life. Your joints deserve calm, not chaos. Food. Number 8. Age-rich foods, the burnt bits that burn your joints. Have you ever scraped the crispy bits off the edge of a grilled steak or pan-fried chicken and thought, that's the best part? It's flavorful, crunchy, and feels satisfying. But here's the hidden danger. Those browned, charred bits are full of compounds called ages, advanced glycation end products, and they may be silently fueling your joint pain every single day. Ages form when proteins or fats combine with sugar during high-temperature cooking methods like grilling, frying, roasting, or broiling. This process is called the Maillard reaction. It's what gives browned meat that delicious flavor, but it's also what makes it harmful if you're living with arthritis. Why are ages such a problem for seniors with joint pain? Because once these compounds enter your body, they increase oxidative stress and trigger the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines. These are the very same molecules that worsen swelling, stiffness, and pain in conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. Over time, ages can accumulate in your tissues, including your joints, where they cause degradation of cartilage, reduced flexibility, and an acceleration of arthritis symptoms. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine your joint cartilage as a soft, flexible cushion that protects your bones. When ages build up, they make that cushion brittle, like an old sponge left out in the sun. Every movement becomes more painful, every step a little harder, and your mobility slowly declines. It's not just arthritis either. Ages are linked to diabetes, Alzheimer's, kidney damage, and cardiovascular disease, all of which are more common as we age. But here's the twist. While ages are naturally produced in small amounts by the body, a major source of harmful ages comes from our diet, and we have control over that. The worst offenders? Grilled steaks, bacon, deep-fried chicken, seared burgers, roasted cheeses, and even over-toasted bread. But don't worry, you don't have to give up flavor. You just have to change the cooking method. Here are some simple swaps to lower age intake and protect your joints. Steam, poach, or boil your proteins instead of grilling or frying them. Slow-cook stews and soups using gentle, moist heat. It's joint-friendly and still delicious. Use acidic marinades, like lemon juice or vinegar, before cooking meats. They reduce age formation significantly. Choose fresh herbs and spices instead of charring foods to get flavor. Avoid ultra-processed, high-heat snacks like chips and overly browned frozen foods. Let's take Linda, a 68-year-old with rheumatoid arthritis. She used to love pan-seared steak with a crusty edge every Friday night. But when her flare-ups got worse, her rheumatologist explained the role of dietary ages. Linda made a simple switch. She began steaming salmon with herbs and lemon, and swapped her favorite charred toast for soft whole grain bread. Within 2 months, her morning stiffness reduced significantly, and she had more energy for gardening again. The takeaway: that golden brown sear might be pleasing to the tongue, but it could be punishing your joints. It's not about giving up everything you love. It's about cooking smarter for a healthier, more mobile future. Your joints don't need more fire. They need calm, cooling nourishment, and that starts in your kitchen. Food number 9, dairy products, the surprising trigger behind joint flares. It's part of your morning coffee. It's in your favorite yogurt, your cheese-topped sandwich, your comforting glass of warm milk before bed. Dairy products are so deeply woven into our daily lives that we rarely stop to ask, could this be hurting my joints? For many seniors living with arthritis, the answer might be yes. Let's be clear, not all dairy is bad for everyone. But if you're dealing with an inflammatory type of arthritis like rheumatoid arthritis, RA, or psoriatic arthritis, dairy might be acting like a hidden saboteur. Here's why. Dairy proteins, especially casein and whey, can stimulate the immune system in sensitive individuals. And when your immune system is already confused and attacking your joints, as it does in autoimmune forms of arthritis, consuming these proteins can trigger or worsen inflammation, leading to more swelling, stiffness, and pain. A growing number of patients with RA report increased joint flares, fatigue, or gut discomfort shortly after consuming milk, cheese, or yogurt. It's not an allergy, it's a sensitivity, and it's more common than you might think. Let's talk about John, a 70-year-old retired carpenter who was frustrated with unpredictable joint flares. He kept a food journal for 3 weeks and noticed something shocking. His knee pain worsened every time he had his usual cheesy omelet breakfast. He cut dairy for a month, and his flare-ups significantly reduced. It wasn't a miracle cure, but it gave him control over something that once felt random. What about osteoarthritis? Here, the evidence is mixed. For some people with non-inflammatory joint pain, dairy might not cause problems. In fact, certain dairy products like low-fat yogurt or kefir provide calcium, vitamin D, and probiotics that support bone health. But for others, especially those with lactose intolerance, casein sensitivity, or gut issues, dairy can still trigger systemic inflammation that spills over into the joints. So how do you know if dairy is a culprit in your arthritis? Try an elimination trial. Remove dairy from your diet for 2-4 weeks, then slowly reintroduce it while observing your symptoms. Choose plant-based alternatives rich in calcium like fortified almond, oat or soy milk, and leafy greens. Get your protein from other joint-friendly sources like tofu, beans, nuts, or fish. And if you do tolerate dairy well, always opt for the cleanest forms: organic, hormone-free and fermented, like kefir, which are easier on the gut and less inflammatory. At the end of the day, your body speaks to you, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in swelling joints. The key is to listen. If your daily dose of dairy is doing more harm than good, letting it go might be the most loving thing you do for your knees, your fingers, and your freedom to move. Because arthritis isn't just about pain, it's about dignity. And every choice you make at the table is a chance to reclaim it. Conclusion: you can't control your age, but you can control what you eat. Arthritis doesn't begin with pain. It begins silently, with low-grade inflammation, minor stiffness, or just tired knees. But over time, that silence grows louder until every step becomes a struggle. And here's the truth: your plate can either feed the fire or put it out. In this video, we uncovered 9 hidden culprits in your daily diet. From gluten to processed meats, added sugars to certain oils, that don't just irritate your joints but actively fuel the inflammation cycle, making arthritis worse with each bite. But the good news is, small changes in your eating habits can lead to big relief. Cutting out just one inflammatory food, replacing one processed meal, or switching from regular oil to olive oil may be the turning point that helps you regain smoother mornings, stronger knees, and fewer flare-ups. Every body is different. What aggravates one person may not affect another, but when you become intentional about what goes on your fork, you give your body a chance to heal, not just cope. Because managing arthritis isn't about enduring pain forever. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge, with better choices, and with daily decisions that restore function, freedom, and dignity. If this video opened your eyes, or even just gave you one aha moment, don't keep it to yourself. Comment below and share which food you're going to start cutting out today. Like this video so we know to bring you more helpful arthritis content. And subscribe to It's Better Health, where every week we help you fight pain, restore strength, and live well at every age. Because arthritis may be part of your life, but it doesn't have to control it.